segment, we will be discussing the trending, disturbing videos of banks hoarding the new Naira notes, causing untold hardship on the masses. On this show, we've had something called #WeThePeople. And these are times we need to remind ourselves of our responsibility to our nation. When government makes policies, people are always quick to condemn because we never like to see the other side of the story. A lot of times, many have said that this policy would have been great if it didn't happen during an election period. Others are saying that regardless of, there's never a good time to do a good policy. But either way, you always have to worry about the implementation and how it affects people. But now, the CBN was telling us that they've sent money out, and we kept saying there are no monies there. So they now sent in their staff, their personnel, to go with ICPC and EFCC to go to individual banks to see what's going on. Maybe these banks, they don't know that they're going to make do their promise. They came, and some banks, and they actually mentioned the names of some of the banks, where they actually kept it. Now, I wonder, why would they keep the new notes? What exactly are they trying to achieve? I know you guys don't work in banks, but why are we like this? That's a question many Nigerians are asking themselves. Why are we like this? Because those guys are probably working on instructions from their superiors. Yes. So what are the superiors trying to achieve by holding the new notes? What are your thoughts on this? And why do you think this is? Bisi, you want to start?
Okay, so I think the average Nigerian likes to take advantage of people's plight to make something out of it. When you see there are issues, let's take, for instance, a protest breaks out. And before you realize what's happening, you see a lot of people going into shops to loot. So that at the end of the day, they blame everything on the protest. People who started a protest, who started it peacefully, without violence, peacefully, just walking and making their plight known to the government. Other miscreants who want to take advantage of the situation, we start going into people's businesses to destroy it. It's a Nigerian thing. So now they are building like what I would call, because from this videos that we've seen the CBN exposing banks that had cash, they're now building a sort of fake scarcity so that people can leverage on it. We've seen that for you to get some amount of money, you have to pay extra. It's now business. People are now doing business. If they're not giving to their high-profile clients who probably sought them for having, that cash given to them, they are exchanging it for more. They are making money out of people's hardships. And this is what happens in this country. For me, if you make a law and you say this and this is what is going to happen, and you go around to investigate and see there's a problem, the people should be called to order. There should be sanctions. There should be fines paid for not distributing the cash when you need to distribute the cash. And I saw some of the videos and I was like, so these people had this amount of money. Why aren't they giving to the poor people over the counter? I saw another video, I think Nima was the one that posted it, where some young boys were beating up a bank officer, lady, went on her way home, took out the tire of her car, and was harassing her for not paying their father. I think that was the man that went naked in the banking hall. So I was blaming the young men for doing this, and all of a sudden I'm seeing their banks actually have this money and they are not releasing. So can we try as much as possible not to always take advantage of people when things like this happen?
I always think to myself, don't bank owners have a WhatsApp group? Do they talk together? Are they communicating together to know? Or do they all decide that, don't mind that, Emefiele, don't give out the money? What do you think could have caused banks to hoard this kind of money?
CBN, Emefiele himself. So you want to sit on a policy, you want to push out a policy that you don't sit on. If banks, for instance, have high-paying clients who, when they lose their accounts, there will be consequences on their businesses, what do you think will happen? If you want something to be available, to not be overpriced or something, you take out scarcity. You enter the market with the money, not just give banks. Because they went with cameras into bank vaults now. Because I had to ask someone that, does this look like, is this how the inside of a vault looks? And he said, yes. I said, okay, good. Because I thought they were shelved in somewhere on the corridor somewhere. They made bank staff in the banks with the money. You can say they don't put all of that in the ATMs, but you said withdrawal should be via ATM and not via counter. You issued that regulation. You did not conform with the CBN Act on how old notes should be phased out and new notes be brought in. Did you conform with the time limit when you gave a month? Is that how the law works? And is that how it's been done in the past or in other countries? You said within a short time, this is what will happen. I don't care, as if the only thing that controls your economy is a new note. You forgot the livelihood of others, people. The tomato seller, market seller, have you only body 2,500. Imagine me collecting body for 500 and I cannot pay by cash. And she refused to take a transfer because you will not go and buy plantain with a transfer.
Before.
I'm owing at 2.5 now. Every day, just give me till the body don't finish now. She doesn't have plantain to roast. But that is the reality. When we talk about it like that in the lamest, simplest term, you think, oh no, that's so pedestrian for my class. You cannot rule over a people with your elite group of friends. The bank MDs also have their own class of people that they will serve. And you must be realistic in this country. You cannot come here and say, no, it's his fault, it's not mine. You are the CBN governor. You know that the smallest business goes to the core of your economy.
Yeah.
What did you do? You then went into your officials now told that I have the director of the CBN. I went and made videos and everybody started shouting as if, no, the banks are the only guilty ones. Did you give enough time? Did you not put down policy? You combined a limit to transfer with a cash change, cash swap arrangement.
So that's one. You're absolutely right. So there are two ways. So the CBN also, obviously, in the execution of the policy, didn't do well. Yes. But we're also addressing the fact that even though they have enough time, you have money in your vault. On what basis would you not put in the ATM? That's another conversation.
So, of course, I feel that the CBN has policies, whoever is caught will be penalized. I'm sure the bank, this specific bank, that...
There are multiple banks, though.
Yeah, multiple. But when they say lots of them, it's not up to 10% of the banks. Like when you...
Did they go to all the banks? That's
no, they went to majority
in the cities.
It's not all that they recorded and posted. Yeah. Some they recorded, some they didn't post.
Because when we put policies, when we put videos like this, so one, totally wrong. Banks should not be hoarding money. Banks should not be complicit in causing more hardship to the people. The bank is culpable in causing this crisis with this video evidence. That is on one side. And I feel that the bank took advantage, and I feel head should roll. We talk about it when there are no strong consequences. People will get away with doing anything. Impunity will happen. So the strong consequence for me would be that the person in charge of the treasury of the branch should actually be losing his or her job, because you are the one in charge of the money. You are the one in charge of how the money is being disbursed.
Before we say that, I'm thinking, is it possible for you to go to multiple banks and find that all the banks are holding? Was there a general information that was sent to all the banks? Many of the banks were.
So we can't say that, because according to what we got, the information that the press released by the association, let me quote them well, according to the statements written by the Association of Corporate Affairs Managers of Banks.
Okay.
The statement was signed by Rashid Bolariwa that the cashless policy, they did not hoard cash, that they understand the hardship being faced. Also, the senior staff of banks and other financial institutions at the weekend condemned the attack on banks and staff as a result of Naira scarcity. So a few people will take advantage. But it doesn't mean that all the banks were culpable. Okay. And so we must highlight those that talk about this.
There's also
they should mention their names and say that this is the discipline. Yes, this branch in this place, we found money being stocked. Okay. And there was no money in their ATM. So that we can properly deal with the right people.
Because of some background knowledge that I have.
I had a conversation with my own bank account officer, because I really needed cash. And he said that every day, when the money comes in, there's a specific percentage that goes into ATM, and there's a specific percentage that they're allowed to pay out over the counter, and they cannot do more than 5,000 or 10,000 per person. So I needed more than that, and they said I cannot get it because the money finishes even before 12 o'clock.
So that's the CBN factor.
So that's the CBN factor. That's where I have a problem. And then you then go. Maybe a bank just received an amount. I tried to get cash the very first week, and the branch that I went was giving 1 million daily of the new notes from their zonal branch. Money. Because they have more customers, and then they couldn't meet up. Of course, you will have, once there's scarcity, you have people scampering around for it outside. And the bank was saying, madam, even I tried with all the influence to please get at least 500,000 off the counter. They said, it's not possible, it's not going to happen in this branch. I couldn't even get 30,000. I had to leave. And then you come around, you do videos of the vault as if, what if they just took delivery of the cash? Every day, bullion of us are moving cash. Yeah. What if they just took delivery of the cash and you made the video and you make it seem like, no, the CBN is all, our hands are clean, no, is the banker put the cameras in their faces.
So still discussing the hoarding of the new Naira notes. You're going to say something.
Yes, so I think, this is my personal opinion, I may be wrong, but that's what I think, and I stand by what I think. So I think the CBN governor is playing Nigerians. I think what just happened with, torchlighting banks that had money in the vault is throwing them under the bus. Monies were not printed adequately in the first place because they had a plan to mop up money from Nigerians, and they didn't have a plan to refurbish them with new notes. So let's take, for instance, they wanted to mop up about 2 trillion from outside into the banking system. They printed only about 1 trillion or even less than that, so that people will be cash trapped. Which is okay for what they want to do, trying to find a way to solve the issues of corruption, which is fantastic. But they forgot the poor people. They did not consider them in the first place. Now it's like 2 elephants are fighting and the grass is the one suffering. The poor people are the grass right now. You wanted to deal with corrupt people, but you know these corrupt people. You know how you can trace them. You know how you can get their accounts. Every money that is being moved does not go without the CBN knowing about it or sanctioning it. You could have gone directly to them, called their names if you have the full chest, and leave poor people alone who are doing their daily businesses. And even if you decide to go through this route that you are going through right now, why don't you ensure that those banks in those places, those local places, those who have just little amount of money are able to get the cash? We won't have faced these issues. Even if you say people like us, for instance, no, hold on. No. You say, for instance, the middle class, they have our account details. They know how much we have, right? The middle class will not be able to get cash. You people can transact with ATMs and do your transfers. But you see those people who are market women, you have their records. Make sure that they are able to get money across the counter or the ATMs. That's where they faulted, and because they did not consider the poor people in this policy, they did not print enough money. They should not blame the banks for having money in their vaults. Those banks could have received that money just before giving it out when they came and torchlighted them.
I have a caller on holding for you. Good morning, are you there? Oh, I'm so sorry. I lost
just as BC said, the policy was in 3 phases. They said they want to mop back cash that was not in their within their domain. Yeah. It was too much cash in the system. They wanted to mop it up back. So they did that. And then they limited what we could withdraw. And then they did a Naira swap at the same time.
At the same time.
And now you now come and say, put cameras in bank staff faces that they are holding the cash in their vaults, that they did not release cash. Whereas when you go to the ATMs that are non-banks, it's 5,000 per person. If you don't finish for the ATM, you finish. They will continue to load till they run out of cash and they wait the next day. Are you telling us that you are so efficient that every other day or the very next day you will give them money? Cash? Or that you were actually deliberate about swapping the old cash for new cash by providing only new cash constantly, whereas the votes that they showed, people did not look well. The new notes are small. The old notes that they are still mopping up in plenty. Look at this one we are showing now.
So
what exactly are you saying?
I love how our conversation has gone, because the easiest thing and what we've seen most on social media is people saying, oh, the banks are corrupt people. The banks are taking advantage. The banks are exploiting people. I'm not totally absolving the banks, because I feel strongly that they are also these ones they are showing are also complicit to an extent. But what I believe is that what CBN is trying to do is to defend themselves and throw somebody under the bus.
That's what they
let somebody take responsibility.
Take the fall,
So these people should take the fall, not understanding the fact that we are putting the lives of bankers at risk. That's on one side. On the other side for me is that aside from banks, the banks' issues, is that we've seen new notes outside in such a way that it does not carry the label of the bank, which means people are getting monies from
directly from CBN.
There's a racket from inside CBN, and that should also be investigated. So if you are bringing out the banks that are keeping the money, also bring out the CBN.
How did you notice that?
That are bringing, because the monies you see at parties, I don't know, but they don't carry. You don't see any
bank logos.
I hear that there's a very popular woman. I don't know her. I just hear this gist that she's the major racket. CBN. She brings it out. and gives to all these people. Now they need to find
And
that
she are
woman
that
because
big.
and
You are
so
not-
there are big people who have been doing this for years. She's built a business around this. So CBN too also should carry their cameras within the CBN
They
vault
know how.
to see how that money is also getting out. Let me take this call from
They know how.
Avocado. I think it's Yakub. Good morning, Yakub. Are you there?
Yeah, Mariam, good morning.
You're live.
Yeah, thank you very much. No one mentioned that head to row. I think this is my own personal opinion, Mariam. If head to row, you should start from the central bank governor. Although I'm not surprised, a second whereby it is only this country I've ever seen a central bank governor trying to become a president. After he failed to get the ticket of the party, he now beginning to promote all this kind of Sarah, all this kind of thing. But let's have a question here. How many these new notes get to bandits? A lot of these new notes, I watch it on TV. A lot of these notes get to a bandit that inside the bush. A lot of corruption is ongoing. Especially our president needs to do the listening. I just think that we have a president that is so proactive that now the central bank governor was in sack. That is the truth. Because the reason is this: he has failed. Incompetent is here. Let me tell you, all the people that this so-called seller market, woman seller, sell something in the market. By this time, go to market, Morayo. This is the problem these people are passing through, even including the street seller. Everybody are passing through her. In order for you see, what the government is doing is that it's trying to demarket one particular president candidate. That is the truth. And then they are going to play woefully. Like that very particular president they are trying to demarket.
Thank you very much, Jakub. But my worry is that why can't the president call him to order? I think, was it 14 or 12 governors? I need to go and see president on Friday. On Friday. But why is it impossible for the president or the National Assembly, the senators, to intervene in this situation?
For the extension, the president had to intervene.
Yeah.
But he is the economist who should be advising the
Our
president.
vice president who is in charge of the economy.
No.
The one that has
CBN reports to the president.
Yeah, I know.
In financing, in economy, and all of that is the CBN governor.
That's a lot
Is
of
the
money.
CBN governor.
That's a lot of money that is in that vault
Yeah,
right
that's a lot
now.
of
So
This is a lot of new notes, but the other one we had more old notes.
So I feel that while we know all of us agreed that the policy on paper was good, it is when we saw the reality of the cash crunch on our lives as individuals that we realized that, oh, we cannot suddenly go cashless. We're trying to, I'm planting yams. Okay, so our plan is to plant 60,000 tubers of yams by March. To get the shooters for the yam, we're going to the villages. And the villages don't collect transfer. And we're paying them hundreds of thousands of naira, which we have to do via cash. So how do we get the cash when there is no cash around? I mentioned I wanted to clear a land. For 2 weeks, we've not been able to clear. I've paid the supervisor to clear the land. Till now,
You can't
the
withdraw.
supervisor say he cannot withdraw money. Would I give him 60,000 naira so that he can use to withdraw 300,000 naira? I say, how? Why would I be buying money to pay? And that's how they've been doing. So if you want to pay a vendor money now for doing a job for you, you will not give him 3,000 naira extra so that he can withdraw it from the POS.
that's the way the people.
That's costing us more money.
Money that the CBN said they printed in the bank. You are not giving. You're going to sell it to me at a
Because
point.
you made this card. Is that not why we're buying dollars?
Yes,
Are we not buying dollars?
Let me
so
take
people now
Hassan.
go
Is economy-
across,
is the
those
economy-
in Benin, at the border buying safe.
Let me take Hassan. Good morning, Hassan. Are you there?
Good morning, Mariam.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
Look, it seems people decided not to change so much. You see this initiative. I've been talking about this for the past 8 years. That man is not supposed to be there. And the way people are talking that banks are not comfortable. The number one enemy of Nigeria are banks. And electricity is from banks. So how do you differentiate between the two? Look, this guy is from PDP. He was brought, he was for object into everything. And PDP is PDP. And it's working against APC government now. Look, we know what is happening. Look, forget about all these giving that they are selling to Buhari. You understand? The concept is well known to us. You understand? This issue of concept. But the intention is very, very faulty. The intention is to get at our party APC and run it down And they will never succeed.
All right, so, I mean, the
I was
last two
clear
callers
in
have...
saying that the banks are culpable. A few banks are culpable, but not all banks. And we mustn't just generalize based on a few videos we've seen. And the few videos did not highlight the number. They didn't give us statistics. We're talking about CBN. They are the headquarters of numbers. So they're supposed to say, we visited 100 banks. 10 banks were found with a large amount of money in their vault that they had gotten a few days back that they did not release. Like, give data specifically. Don't just do what social media people do. Don't do what people on reporters what we are condemning online. Just bring a camera and say, as you are saying, there is money. That's what people in the streets, people illiterate will do the same thing. You are a director in the CBN. Give us data. These are the banks. This is their branch. This is the punishment for them. We're not letting them go scot-free so that you will feel the confidence that CBN is defending me. CBN should not just throw somebody out so that we will feel bad and will be distracted from calling them out. We're not like that. We're not going to be distracted.
Let me take this call.
Not to know that even the old notes were a commodity that people bought. So how did the people who sell them at parties enter the business of buying and selling of notes? It's a business. And they had syndicates that were doing it before.
Let me take this call from Aminu, calling from Yola. Good morning.
Boss.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Sir, you're live.
It's unfortunate that we feel everything we can make money out of it. I don't know if we wake up one day and say to the tomato seller too is holding his product for us not to eat food. It's unfortunate. But however, one thing must be certain. The bank must be accountable. I don't deposit my monies in central bank. They should understand my monies are deposited with them. If it has not been given to me, it is their responsibility to query the central bank and take them to whatever level they want to.
Right.
But I'm their customer. I'm not the customer to central bank.
Exactly.
So somebody must take responsibility of my deposit. That is why I deposited money with. I'm a Muslim. I don't buy money. I don't sell money. Yeah. I cannot buy money. I will sell money. I'm a Muslim. It's haram in my religion. So the bank must take responsibility. It's not about central bank. They should query the central bank. They should have meetings there. Or see, Mariah, you have.
I think that's a very strong point. I mean, you're saying that the truth is that we are customers of the banks. So banks should have that responsibility to us to put those new notes in the ATM.
All hands are not equal. You are a customer, your entire money that you have done in transaction with the bank for the entire 10 years you've opened the account, it did not reach 1 million. And some other people, their everyday transaction is in the millions. So there will be priorities. And you cannot...
And that priority is where we also have to consider... I have to go on a break, Nima, but see, these priorities are also part of the issue we're having, because a rich man who has maybe 10 billion in your account can call you and say, I need 10 million naira, which is all the money just in, and you don't bring 5 million naira, you know, to him.
The rich men are feeling it now. They can't get it. That's the truth.
Still discussing this hoarding of Naira, and I'd like to take a few calls. You can call us on 0812-70-53687, 091-390-76948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your view TVC so we can read the tweets. Nima, you're going to say something before I think I have a call actually. Hold on a second. Good morning, Dende. Are you there?
Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much. I have to wait because what we are talking about, what we are discussing today is of great interest today. Let me call in and talk. I'm talking from the background of a veteran banker. At least I've been able to witness about 4 exchange of currency during my own time in the industry. I'm not sure we are doing justice to this topic today. There is no excuse for you to find that kind of cash you are taking. No matter if you are just bringing even from CBN right now. No, there is no time for putting that kind of cash on the floor in the bank. That's it all now. What is happening is just the truth about our actions and behavior as Nigerians. In everything we do, the Nigerian factor will come in. No banker has been trained when people are waiting outside that way, and people are just there, free up in the banking law. That somebody is probably this cash is just coming. No, there can't be chance for all that. Because you are so sure at that time
that there is somebody waiting with the manager discussing how the salary of the staff has not been paid. Somebody is at the counter there helping his lady. So even if the cash was coming in from CBN, I can assure you, inside that banking, inside that people are just trying to share the money, appropriate the money to different demands that must have been waiting before that fund coming. Believe me, everything is wrong with our banking industry now. Yeah. Look, when we are not in this trouble, have you been seeing the new notes outside? There has been an attitude of selling Naira when they are new. And because we have not been able to curtail that, that's why you never see, for me, I would be telling you, have you been seeing our 200 Naira outside Nigeria? The only time you will see it today at this party. So it is like they can't stop that business for now. They want the business to continue as usual. But not when Nigerians are in a hurry to get this result. So I think the banking industry, government needs to come heavily, use some of them as scapegoats, treat them accordingly as saboteurs of our economy. Probably they will find solutions to this.
Thank you very much, Adin. So
I was going to respond to the earlier caller, Adam, when he talked about that his relationship is with the banks. And, you know, sadly, the bank owe him that responsibility. He didn't contract anything with the central bank. But the central bank, as a regulatory body, tied the hands of the banks. Yeah. And now they put cameras in the faces of bank staff, risking their lives. We saw a video, the one that, you know, I shared, of boys attacking the bank staff after close of work. People laying siege to banks. Well, we saw banks being stoned and broken in Ibadan. CBN is now treating the matter as if, no, our own hands are clean, no, just see the culprits there. As a regulatory body.
Very wrong.
And you people want to burn down this country?
Exactly.
So what would you rather CBN do?
I mentioned it.
Which is still post the video or not post the video?
You can post the video, mention the bank, mention the branch, specify that this is the punishment we'll make to them, so that you don't let people now carry out juggle justice on the officials there.
And you can
so people know that this is
branch.
our own, how we are handling the issue and how we are preventing it from hurting you in future. Yeah. Also, let's know the percentage of banks that are hoarding the money as opposed to, so that people will not feel like all banks are hoarding the money. Because when I saw the video, I called my accountant and said, guys, you guys have money. I'm going to move my money like I have plenty of money to move inside the bank. I was just shakara. But he said the truth is every day that before 12 noon, they have exhausted new notes. And they are not releasing old notes because they're not allowed to. So these are
probably in specific banks. So
and in some specific locations. So you put it out there so that people will not get the wrong ideas.
Freedom must come to equity. Must come with clean hands. If the CBN's hand is clean, trust me, you would have had sanctions by now. But they know that their hand is not clean. You cannot give me money that is not enough for half of my customers. And then you are chastising me for what?
Sanction.
No, hold on. You are chastising me for what? I don't have enough money. That vault that you saw, it could be that they just dropped the money. We've not had time to share it before they came and they captured it. There is no policy that the banks will carry out without the signing off of the CBN. So let's not separate them. Two of them are in this together. They should tell us the truth. We don't have enough money. We're going to try as much as possible to ensure that the people who need it for their daily transactions will get it more than those who have other options. That's what I want them to hear. Not that they want to sanction who. Okay. Sanction who?
Banks have branches. They have zonal branches. They have headquarters. They have, you know, level day bank.
Yeah.
You don't go to the bank, the vault of a headquarter or a zonal branch and say that they have this amount of money. Whereas in the small, the lowest of the bank, maybe the neighborhood branch,
that's no Naira.
That's 1 million of new notes daily. You are not there with your camera. You say the vault has this amount of money. The CBN has not mentioned where they are doing videos from. The one that is spending money the most, CBN, who also hold the responsibility to protect bank staff in this, are the ones putting them out there without protection. If CBN said that they can mop up after the 17th, old notes from their headquarters in any CBN office within states, CBN too can give us new notes in those offices. Let's go to Tinubu Square and collect money. Yes, and collect new notes. CBN can intervene in this matter more than 1 million ways, but they chose to do this one and say that rating banks are putting photos in their faces.
But let me.
There are sanctions they can do. I'm not saying they shouldn't sanction banks who has notes and they didn't put it in the vault. That was not the time. If you get to the bank at 12 and they have notes in their at 12 p.m. in the afternoon and they have notes in their vaults, in a local whatever branch, and you're saying this month, oh yeah, now I'm watching you now. Move to the ATM. You supervise that.
That's what
and
I
you report to
expected.
Nigerians. Not that you do video and it looks all dark as if you're doing that
But I
6
feel that
p.m.
we can't please Nigerians because I understand that
Well,
this time
it's
last
the risk
week,
of bankers being beaten
this time last
and killed.
week,
That
this
is
time
my
last
fear.
week, this time last week, we're all blaming CBN. And CBN is saying, okay, I have put out money there. Then we don't believe you. Now, I'm sending my personnel and ICPC to EFC to go out and see and get evidences that indeed I have given them money and given them cash. They've now done a video. We're not complaining. Don't do the video. Come with data. Come with information. So we need information.
Mariah, let me
What
tell you, if your
before
child
come down.
makes a mistake outside, do you go and expose your child outside? You will go there and do the correction. What I expected is you get to that place, you are seeing money in the vault. Oh yeah, start loading it into the. How many ATMs do you have here? Load it. What's the remaining one? Oh yeah, let's transfer to the next branch.
So we know what you need
into the
tomorrow
ATM.
morning.
So if we had seen that
Is
video,
it possible they
we
did
will,
that?
no, they did not do it.
They did not do
If
video
we
like
had
that,
seen
though.
that video,
What would we see?
that would have told us that they are working for us. They are not putting anybody under the bus. They are not pushing anybody under the bus. Do that video and follow up. Then let us receive news that okay, this ATM is now dispensing. That ATM is dispensing. That's being a proactive leader. Don't okay. They finished the video now. Shebi they went home. That money is it still not in the vault?
No, I don't. No, come on now.
Then collect them
Come
back.
on, relax.
They make sure that it's
listen.
spread.
Let's not speak like relax. There's no way an official will see that money in the vault and will not ensure that money is transferred to the ATM because she doesn't see the video of that happening.
That's the
doesn't
video
mean it
we
didn't happen. And that's the video they posted. Doesn't mean that they not actually ensure they put the money in the ATM. There's a possibility. We don't have the video. We can't say categorically that they only inspected, recorded and went home. No, that's what you saw based on the video you saw.
Hi.
Let me take this call. No, I'm just telling you that it's impossible.
That's half truth
Either
now.
way, it's half true, but either way, we don't have evidence of ATMs across the country. How many ATMs there have in this country?
See, we can conclude what you just said. There are certain safe conclusions, there are certain unsafe conclusions. You put a camera in somebody's face, you show the notes, you do that, and
That's
you say
a
that.
different
and you
conversation.
wait, you ask for their names. There's one particular name
Yes.
emphasizing. You ask for the
Yes.
names of the staff who are there already risking their life. That's how all the bank staff got COVID that year.
Yeah.
You put it in their faces, you got all of that. You did not put it on your own face. You mentioned names, and then you left the bank. You did not tell us, "I'm taking back these notes under this authority. This is what will happen to this bank." You did not say,
put it
"Oh,
in
I'm
the
going to
ATMs.
ensure." Or you did not take over bank business that day and say, "I'm standing here. Everybody on the queue, get in. Come and withdraw money."
Begin loading it.
You did not do that one, though. You just do video, say, "Now get notes."
What if they did and
They
you
did
didn't
not.
see it?
Why
Nigerians, they would
did
have
you
shown it.
release the one that you did not do? Why did you release the one that will risk their lives? That people waiting outside will decide to kill them, stone them,
let me take this call.
burn down branches. When they start cutting away money, that's when you know the risk of what you did. You know the adults.
Right,
You're a
let
baby.
You should get
Let me
sense
take
now.
this call. Good morning, are you there?
Talking nonsense.
All said, Nima. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, you're live.
Okay. So,
Please listen to the TV, not TV. Listen to the phone, not the television.
Is
Talk
that
to me.
Mariah?
Yes, please go ahead. You're live.
Already, you know have kept me waiting for almost 4 hours. Approx minutes.
I do apologize. Go ahead, please.
So what I want to say, my name is Mr. Siraj Kasunnaji.
Yes, sir. Welcome to the
There's
show.
one thing I observed, that everybody in this country is a country without formula. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of things go wrong. Even we at the grassroots, if 1 Naira, 20,000 Naira comes to our pocket today, 20,000 new notes, we are holding it waiting for the last day. Many of us are not spending it. We are keeping it to the last day so that we begin to spend it. So that is one of the reasons this money are not in circulation. I understand what the angles all of you are taking there. But most importantly, again, is that
Oh, Sugar, we lost Mr. Naji, but thank you very much. He's also agreeing with what we've seen so far. Let me take this call.
He's
So,
talking
Femi.
about Nigerians also getting the new notes and not doing it, not spending it, so that it's in circulation. He's saying that Nigerians too, when they get 20,000 Naira new note, they first of all go and keep it.
That's true.
The one that I spent on call, it's not biting me now.
You know what?
I carry 70K. I want to go and spend. Now I don't have.
You don't want to risk not having
I have
it.
about 10K new notes. I've been holding it too. So it's the old one that I'm there. I need to cost me that I'm keeping it. I refuse to spend that one. Let me spend the old one.
On Thursday,
Just like
me
that.
that I
So
spent
it's
my own-
subconscious.
on Thursday, I was leaving the house. I wanted to go out. I had just 500 Naira. I wanted to see my mom. So I called a friend, okay, please, just give me 50,000. Let me put it in my business and use so I can withdraw. She was like, Nima, no, me, so I can't spend. Okay, give me transport fare. She gave me 2,005. She's watching.
Even at my friend-
I'm sure she's watching. You gave me 2,500. She was the one who paid the fare for me to go. I had to bus.
Even my friend's party,
this
where on
country no
Saturday, I
balance.
gave her 2,000 naira now. Nobody
Yeah,
should.
yeah.
She has
I always
to
spend my own
We're
content.
now sharing 2,211K.
I was begging for money to go out.
I've been holding that work case.
You have not spent that money. Because Emefiele has been Emefiele. Let me take this call from Femi. Good morning, Femi. Are you there? Oh, it's Usman. I do apologize. Good morning, Mr. Usman.
Good morning.
You're live.
Yeah. Sorry, I wanted to, my point I wanted to give out, someone had just put out that point. Some of us citizens, we are actually hoarding. Nigerians, we need to be considerate of others, especially when there's scarcity. I've seen this during when there's fuel scarcity, and you see that's when people want to buy more. People want to fill their tank, even get their returns and store their houses with fuel. Same thing with this Naira note. You learn to allow others have.
Yeah.
When they say get 10,000 Naira or 5,000 Naira, I think if they're not for today, you go around. During scarcity, that is when Nigerians want to have everything for themselves, not caring. That's the point.
Thank you very much, Usman. So the point is that if I have influence in a bank, so I know the branch manager, and I call the bank, please, I need $1 million. Mariah, I can't give you $1 million. Let me try 300,000 Naira for you. And I take that 300,000 Naira new note and I keep it. Now, is that hoarding?
That's hoarding.
You keep it because you have an
also
option.
You have to buy.
That's why they should not give to people like us who have an option. You give to those people who need it daily.
Yeah.
To buy the bole, buy plantain, roast, sell bole, go back, buy.
Right.
People.
So that 300,000 shouldn't be given to somebody.
It shouldn't be given to someone like you because you have an option. So I take my card, I walk into a store, now I can't go to the open market because I don't have cash. But I can walk into a place like Ebino and buy vegetables and everything and pay with my card. So people like us, I'm not even speaking for us, we don't need this cash right now. Let's sort out those people on the streets who are daily pay wage earners who need it.
That means the bank staff should have this understanding. What you said earlier, which I didn't really dig deeper in, is we just say that you should want to categorize your customers.
Yes.
These ones, they can have the online transactions because they have but I don't know if the CBN has that data.
We have
but there
the
are
apps.
So even the banks do. So these brackets or this band of people should be attended to urgently because they are the ones that actually need the cash.
That shows me that you are thinking for your people. Every true leader must think for the majority of the people. The elites can find a way around it. They have options.
Let me take Medina. I'll come to you, Niman. Let me take Medina. I've been holding for a minute. Good morning, Medina. Are you there?
Good morning, Mariah.
You're live.
Thank you. Please, my own this thing, just look for a way to settle this thing, please. They are suffering. Please, it's too much. The Indian government should be held responsible for this action, please. When you make policies, then you don't follow up the policies, there's no adequate plan, people are suffering. They should just try and do something about it.
Thank you, Medina.
You guys are doing.
Thank you. Go ahead.
The bank within the market that daily knows how much their customers will withdraw in the morning. When they are done with their transactions, they'll come and put in their money safely before bank closes. Sometimes they even help them. They have a holding, so that after bank closes, they'll still help them keep the cash, and then the next morning they do the transaction. So you know those kind of customers.
Those kind of people should be
when they
cash.
too down come, you tell them pay cash. And you know that person's business will not move. In trade fair, they have banks like that. They know that's how their customers work. They sell, they deposit safely, they come back in the morning, take out their money, they buy, they pay, and they do their businesses. So you know the banks have those data. But the CBN is still limiting them, saying, give only this amount, notwithstanding what they transact with.
No.
Let me take Kadri. We need the Nigerians to call in to share experiences because that's the only way government can actually really see what we are going through. Good morning, Kadri. Are you there?
Oh, Halima and everyone, good morning. Can you guys hear me?
Good morning, Kadri. Yes, tell us the situation in Kaduna.
It's the same everywhere. But let me say something to you, Mariah. I want to ask you a very simple question. If you are a leader and set up a policy that affects everyone, and you still have that capability to put an end to it, what will you do? Why would the CBN take a policy that they know by themselves that is not going to work? Looking at the concept of Nigeria, Kaduna said there are a lot of local governments that we don't even have branches of banks. You can't even see banks. People take what we call POS. It's difficult for you to even see POS. So Naira is not black market. For you to access Naira in Kaduna State, you have to go to the black market. I have to pay 4,000 Naira for
for 3,000 naira. I paid 4,000 to 3,000 naira. So if a member is telling Nigerians that I'm not going to extend, you came before, you told us that you have done all your research and everything, this thing is going to work. January 30 is the deadline, no going back. Later you come back and you told us that you have discussed with the president that to extend 10 days of February. Who does that?
Exactly.
This BM is a disgrace under Emefiele's leadership. It shows that Emefiele is not the common man unconscious. The Emefiele did not even think about the common man, the market women. How do you want people to access tomatoes? Okay, if I want to buy tomatoes or I want to buy pepper in the normal marketplace, people that don't use their...
Thank you so much, Kadu. You're very correct. We also have to address the fact that some bandits claim to have the new notes. How are they getting the notes? So, as we were saying earlier, that Emefiele should also...
They had the new notes. They had the whole vault, sat with it and made videos of it.
So, how does bank... So, obviously, there's somebody in the CBN. So, you know, you're carrying camera to banks. You really need to put camera within the CBN vault.
Because somebody... Equity, it might not be...
Let's go with clean hands.
But you know, how do the bandits get paid? Because they are exploiting the weakness of
the people, yeah.
You know, so people that are desperate, that they've had their loved one kidnapped, will find any way to get the new notes. They will buy the new notes to ensure they're able to release their loved ones. So the bandit side for me is... Well, it's the average person shouldn't be bothered about that, because really you cannot do what those people did to get the new notes that they have, and we don't want to encourage it. What we just want is we want to see that our government feels what we're feeling and they are able to provide short-term solutions to the problems that the average Nigerian
Can we provide alternative suggestions to what CBN is trying to achieve? So one of their key points is they want to avoid vote buying, or maybe during the elections. No, can you provide more security to stop people from doing that? I mean, if that is one of your objectives, you don't want people to have cash, you don't want to be able to be having people carrying Ghana must go up and down, understandably. But what can you do? What is the alternative to ensuring that you have enough security to avoid that from happening if you want a free and fair election?
Counterproductive policy like this one. If you make this scarcity persist by elections, if they give somebody 1,000 naira, new or old note, you know, even but you can buy something with it, will it not sell vote?
Let me take this call from Sadiq. Good morning, Sadiq. Are you there?
Hello, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. I'm calling from Kano State.
Well, go ahead. You're live.
Thank you. My whole contribution this morning is that
You're listening to the TV. Sadiq, are you there? I really wanted to hear that, because we really like to hear from Nigerians across the country. What are you going through? I was having dinner with somebody from Abuja on Saturday, and she was saying that she didn't really have a lot of cash. Scarcity wasn't so bad in Abuja. Being that's the center of power. And at least there were some ATMs that were dispensing the new notes. So she didn't have much of a problem. That was her own experience. I said, we here in Lagos, so we don't have cash. So there are different people across the country that might have different experiences. Please call in the numbers on your screen so that we can hear your own experiences. Do you have anything on social media you want to share?
Yeah,
go ahead.
Okay. IB says people are going through a lot seriously. IB pictures. And this is actually, if this actually continues, I don't even know how people would definitely survive this, because to get cash from POS is tough, and all these POS agents are shutting down their businesses because there's no cash to run their business. Statement of fact, I can feel you.
Okay, let me take Sheriff from Kano. Good morning, Sheriff. Are you there?
Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please. Hello, Sheriff. Are you there?
These doctors, they are really the problem. No, I have a video, but I won't give to anybody because you can't promotion is. So I want the people to monitor this doctor. They are the ones making money. The people that are selling their sheep, even themselves, is other people.
We can't hear you.
I can't hear that. Sorry, Sheriff. It's really muffled.
He's blaming the central bank that you're the one making the money and you're the one regulating the sector, and yet it's not going out. So,
any comments on social media?
Okay, I was going to take one quickly. Sultan says The masses are the worst hit by this cash scarcity. The masses use low denominations more. The central bank and the banks should start to push out 100, 50 naira, 20 naira, and 10 naira and 5 naira notes in their vaults and print more lower notes. That should take care of the crisis, as him suggesting.
Suggested that one too.
All right, we have to wrap up on this, but I think that's all we can take on this segment. You know, I'm hoping that, I think I read in the paper somewhere that the Speaker of the National Assembly is going to reconvene again. I think he mentioned it when he was on weekend in Lagos over the weekend, saying that they need to have another meeting on this matter. We cannot continue like this. The truth is that we need the new notes to be dispensed in the ATMs and accessible to especially communities where many of them are far from the banks and they deal mostly in cash. And also, based on what BC was suggested earlier, that those of us who transact online, we have ATMs, we have POS, we have the cards, ATM cards. We are the ones that we can actually manage without so much cash on our hands. But there's a band of Nigerians who desperately need that cash. Based on the data that the banks have, you have to be able to trace and know this business. Many of these banks already have relationships with their customers. They know everybody who is banking with them, the kind of person is banking with them. You can have an idea who needs the cash. And those should be prioritized over the rich folks or that is calling you and saying, please send 10 million naira to my account. Sure. That is what we are telling you. That's where you become a patriot. That's where you become a Nigerian. That's where you become, your humanity comes and say, you know what, these guys are more priority than those. I think that's all we can take on this segment.